basically I want to, like, when I click on this button, I want it to like fill up, like from the left to the right to show that it's being like held onto or holded. And I was hesitant to just do like adding a whole new node for the animation. I was hesitant to do that at first because it seemed like more work, but after doing the other thing, it seems like basically the exact same amount of work. So I recommend just adding in like a new panel, or this could be anything, like you make your own like animation thing that's specified for the width and height of this thing, and you play around with a stretch or whatever if it doesn't fit at first. So like this could be like color rect, and then easy thing to do is to just like tween or change the size of this. So let me just go to this button here and reset all this. Oh, actually no, I just want to do empty. If you want a button that has no like animations or whatever with it, you just make new stylebox empties for all of those, and then go to this select bar here, and then style boxes. You can do like other things. There's like a style box texture, but for this I'm just going to do a style box flat, and I don't know why this is not appearing. Oh yeah, because I got to set this like that. Make sure for your control nodes that you are remembering to set the anchors and stuff or whatever, because that can come back to bite you when you have to deal with like different resolutions and stuff. So it's nice to just keep track of that, though it's not really that bad to fix stuff. I've had to fix stuff like that before, and it's like way not as terrible as it seems. Sorry, I'm really nervous to talk because I'm scared. Basically, so if I have this panel new thing, and this is just covering the size of my default button, we can go into this panel's style box that we created, and then change like this transparency to that, so it just gets a little brighter, and then you literally just change the size. So like you can save, or no, you can just access the size of the default button a panel container thing that this is supposed to like fit like 100% around, and then just in code you can tween the size of this. So let me play around with that. I will be right back. Okay, so I've played around with it for a little bit. Pause. Basically, here is my thing. I don't know why it's like that. So basically, here is my select bar. Basically, I have the size. I decided to, since the size is like kind of getting set at like around ready, it's kind of just best not to play around with this size and instead use the scale on this. So you can just make it go from 1 to 0, and it does the same thing. Oh, you can also go into the negatives too. That's pretty cool. And then in my code, basically, pretty easy. I just have a tween. I have my tween variable, so it's easy to just like kill the tween whenever we have to. And basically on ready, I set the button's size, and by button, this is referring to the select bar panel. This is kind of a bad name for it, so I'm sorry, I should probably change that. It just sets the size of the X size to 0. As of how I have it configured currently, it expands to the right when you change the X size. I'm sure you could probably have it expand into different directions based off of whatever the pivot thing is or something like that. I don't know. And then we go into here. Here is my button function connections. Basically, here's the button, and then in the signals, I connected button down to the panel container, and then button up also to the panel container. This is the panel container script, by the way, if you couldn't tell. And then basically when the button is being pressed, If the tween is active, then we kill it. Then we create a new tween, set the parameters of it, and then tween property. I have a parallel here, so like if I want to, if for some reason I need to change something at like the same speed as this tween right here or something like that. I don't really know how parallel works that much, but I used it in something before and it seems pretty useful. If you don't want to use this, you don't have to. Not that you would use any of this. This is kind of just random garbage. But maybe it's useful. Then you tween the button scale of X. You use a colon for the strings when you're talking about that stuff, for tweens at least right here. And then set it to 1.4 seconds. And then when the button is up, then just kill the tween and just set it. Don't even need another tween, just automatically set it to set the scale of X to 0, because don't want to have it get smaller. Well, actually, I guess you can do that, but then you'd want to have it reset back to 0 when you're buttoned down. Actually, I can implement that real quick. Let me just do this. Copy this, set this to 0. Then on button down, we want to just make sure that the size of it is 0. And this could be like 0.2 seconds. This, you have to consider that it may be in a different spot each time. So like if a user lets off like halfway through, then it would be faster. Well, not as, it would be the same amount of speed, but it would look like it would be going slower than if the user let off like 75% when it's like full, like 75% type of thing. Just something to remember. If it's going fast enough, then it doesn't really matter ever. It's just kind of, the animation is there. Then on the button down, when it starts filling up, just automatically set, well, actually first should probably kill the tween, and then set the button scale of X to 0. And just like that, and then we can, oh, because I didn't set it back to 0. Okay. Load this up. Boom, just like that. Probably should decrease the amount of time this takes. Like that. I mean, that doesn't really look amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously you can have in this doesn't have to just be a lighter rectangle. Like this can be some cool like gradient color with like different like mod values for the alpha. I don't know, that looks like it's going really slow. Set that to like that. Yeah, like that. That looks nice, I think. And then basically, if you did have it as like a slower decrease, then it resets it back to 0, because you don't want to have it like at like 75%, user lets go and then presses again, and then it just keeps going back up, because that that would probably suck. That's not how buttons are supposed to work, where you're supposed to hold them down. Usually, I mean, if you want to have it like that, then you can, but I think that's not as user friendly. I think. I say that I have like no experience whatsoever with stuff like this, so I apologize if this was a little all over the place. I just wanted to share this information because working with 2D control, Godot control, or Godot 4.6 control stuff is just always so terrible. Like I literally I would much rather work with 3D stuff. Or I don't know if it's just because I have more experience in general, because I've always kind of just liked making more like 3D kind of first person or whatever type of games like that. But like, man, just because you're going from 3D into 2D does not mean it's going to be easier. Oh yeah, and I wanted to touch up on this. Basically, for this select bar thing, I had some problems with the mouse input for the buttons. I think because this child is lower than this button right here, then the input of the mouse is put onto this select bar. I'm using my hands to point at my screen. That's completely useless. basically just in this panel right here, I just had to put the mouse filter as ignore, and then this button actually can't take in mouse input. And then I think this outline can take into it, and it passes so it doesn't stop the mouse thing too. But I don't really know how this works. I think buttons might take a little priority, or no, because this is at the bottom, so this is taken first or something. I don't. Gotta look at that. Some control nodes just have like theme overrides, this little theme overrides thing, and then they'll have like a styles and then like a style box that you can put into them. Not all of the control nodes have this, like this one doesn't. But things like a panel or a button do. And basically, easy way to do that is to just go into the button's own style boxes, and then just kind of make. You can play around with like the border things. Basically, is what I found. It's like, so in this normal style box I have here, I have the background color set to transparent, because I couldn't figure out how to change the size of like the regular like box itself. But I played around with like the border, and you're able to do some cool stuff with like the borders and stuff. So here I have this border kind of set to this transparent color, but not fully transparent, and then the blend is on. And then I'm sorry, picking my nose out. Basically, you can just change the expand margins. Wait, no, not the expand margins. The border width, like left right here. And as you can see, it does this cool little thing. And you don't want it to expand over the thing like that, but you can do that, and that looks kind of cool. But there are some problems with this, which is why I would not recommend doing this method, and instead would just recommend adding in another just completely different node to do the animation instead of just animating on the button itself. Because let's say we turn blend off, and then as you can see, this button, this panel, like this parent, like not the button itself, has its own style box, and it has corners. This is how you do like the rounded boxes and stuff. It has corner radiuses of 10. And then you go to the button, same thing here. Problem with playing around with the border is that if you do something like this, then the border kind of, it is like a square on the end of it. So if we're going from the left, then as you can see, there's these kind of pixels that stick out, which is not good.